Hi guys, I am Vitold and I'm here first of all not to fall on my face, but secondly I'm here to show you some of the best gaming and office chairs out there and assess them with no mercy. And I've been thinking about many years how it is possible that we've got technology that can listen to us, that can speak to us, that can fly, but there isn't technology that can really allow us to sit super crazily comfortably. However, it turns out that there just might be. So we know from my previous video that Secretlab Titan Evo 2022 is likely the best gaming chair out there. It beat Noble Chairs, Epic and DX Racer Formula. Well, they were as good as a competition as a small rock and a cheese sandwich, but still, my research has shown that there's one more contender that's very serious, and that's Razer Core, which is gonna be here in some time and you'll see. And it might be a serious battle. I actually doubt that, since everything shows that this Secretlab's creation is the best out of them all, but we are here to determine the true king of gaming chairs, and not only. Now it's time for real ass whooping, as in the other corner is an office chair called 7G11 from Power Seats, which is electrically adjustable. They both look cool, I gotta say, both Titan and 7G11, but in reality, other than that, they couldn't be more different. Could they? You'll see. All right, so I need to mention that I'm personally involved with Power Seats and this is my chair. So you gotta beware because my love for these things might be visible, and there's actually one more in beige right here. Let me just show you that I believe that an investment in a good office chair, or perhaps in a perfect office chair, is totally worth it. But I need you to keep that in mind, as I might be a little bit biased because of all that. Just so that you know, however, it's hard not to be biased when you've got this, which is very plush. But I'm gonna start with a history lesson first, and for that I'm gonna jump on this thing, switching this off. This chair is based on the same components as most, if not all, other gaming chairs from the far, far east, while this thing is based on Bayerische Motoren Werkes comfort pack seats from the luxury limousine and the biggest and baddest flagship called the 7 Series. So, a BMW. And that's why there is proper research behind this chair and its ergonomics. But is it worth $8,000? It's like a small motorcycle, a nice watch, or a weekend in New York. Let's see. All right, so first things first. The first impression in comparison is that this is amazingly soft and supportive at the same time. That's very important for it to be supportive, to make you sit properly. When in another comparison, it is not as soft as your grandma's sofa. There is an 18-way electric adjustment, which you operate from this panel here. And when jumping from the Titan on this 7G11, it makes you want to cry from happiness. Then jumping back on the Titan makes you want to cry as well, but because of how hard it is, and it stays that hard. Actually, it is not bad here, it's doable, but in comparison, well, there's no comparison basically. All right, so after sitting for a long time in the Titan, you will realize that it's not as bad as it seems in the beginning. And after sitting, let's say 1 hour and standing up, you will still be able to walk straight. You will feel that it was a little bit too hard, but it's not as crazy as in some others that I already have tested, keeping that in mind. Now, the first thing that will hurt after sitting in 7G11 will be your bladder from holding the pee so long. And I'm actually not really exaggerating that much. These things are really, really cool. And this is because they are so adjustable. So you can really make it your perfect personal own spot. And there's one thing that you need to know, which is that the Titan seat is mostly flat. So you're pretty much able to move your legs freely. You may sit however you want, which of course is not recommended. That's the whole idea of an ergonomic chair, to actually not really, maybe not allow you to do that, but not encourage you to do that. Then jumping on the 7G11, despite it being softer and generally nicer and plush and so on, and it's like, it's something completely else, you will realize that there's one thing, which is those bolsters that you might feel if you are a larger human. It's not a problem for me, but if you cannot accept that and you need that freedom of movement of sitting like this, for example, or sitting like this, you might not exactly find this chair to be happy with it, or to be happy with you doing that. If you cannot accept that you will have to sit like the chair tells you to sit, which is, after you adjust it properly, the way it feels for you the most natural and the most comfortable in all those areas here and down there, and the angles and the length and so on. If you cannot accept that, I'm afraid that you might have just lost your chance of having the best and the most advanced office chair in the world now. But keeping it completely serious, I actually wonder why nobody before has actually come up with an idea of making something like really truly remarkable. We spend so much time in these things. So yeah, again, that might be your only chance for a long time. Possibly. I'm not expecting any big manufacturer that's counting their money really to build something like this. Now, the Titan seat itself is slightly raised forward. So it is a little bit like that. It's not much. And all you can do is when you find the lever, you can unlock it. You can tilt it the way you might want, which is only tilted back. You cannot tilt it more forward so that it's more flat, or even going a little bit down if that's what you would want to do at some point. So you might raise it, of course, then you might start feeling a little bit of pressure here. It's not bad, it's definitely not bad in terms of pressure. It's still not as hard and it's not as angled to actually hurt you here, to hurt your legs. So I appreciate that. The support is good, and I think this is a pretty good design when it comes to what gaming chairs can technically offer. In 7G11, if you fully lower it like this, then you might find out that the seat is also a little bit like that. So the starting point is that there is more pressure here. If you don't like that, you may raise it, which is done with this switch, and then you realize that it's mostly the rear part that's going up in this case. If you don't like that, you might adjust the base, the default starting point, by adjusting the manual lift that's right there. So you might find yourself sitting like this, sliding a little bit forward. And now there's no pressure here. My legs are actually, even though the chair is lifted fully, my legs don't really feel any pressure here. If you like that, that's fine. But if you don't, you might tilt this thing and the front part of the seat goes up. And now, if you are a Wonder Woman with super long legs and you want to have some support, that's how you do it. You may stop it at any time, but you may extend it fully. And then I feel the edge right here. There you have it. But that is too high for me, so I'm gonna go down, not to look crazy. And then if you want to feel like in a sports car more, so like in some other gaming chairs, and I know that some people like it and they use footrests, which actually are also added to these seats as default, you might have it pretty far up forward. Add this and it's getting, well, for me, uncomfortable. That's not how I like to sit. I like to have it more flat, but you can do whatever you want with it at any time that you want. Now about the tilt, you cannot play with that in 7G11. There's nothing to unlock the chair. It's pretty heavy, so that was not exactly the idea. So the Secretlab wins here, as you can nicely sue them when the chair falls on you. Yeah, and you can lock it in this position. Technically, you can do the same thing with that one. It's just you cannot have this continuous motion if you want to feel like an 8-year-old with some grandsons and granddaughters on your laps. Let's move to the backrest, as this is where the fun really starts. And Titan is called the best gaming chair mainly because it's got a lumbar support. And it has it, and it does something. You can adjust it in terms of how much it is pushed forward and how much it is raised or lowered in this part of the chair. Now, I like it the most flat in this particular chair. It actually suits me best, and I was able to survive for the longest this way. But if you are shorter than me and your girlfriend is higher, taller than me, then you probably will appreciate this possibility of manual adjustment. It actually works. In 7G11 there's also lumbar support, but it is electric, and it is quicker, it is easier, and it's accompanied by this funny sound. Let's try to make you hear it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it actually really is quicker working with this thing. It can go forward, it can go up, it can go down. Probably the range of motion is larger than in the Titan, but still I think we might be able to call it a tie, just to, make it more interesting. And this is where I could probably take the Titan and throw it off of my balcony to show you what the 7G11 can keep doing about your posture here. But there's one more thing, which is armrest here. This thing that you see here is a broken part of the armrest. It came like this. Let's see what you can do with them. You know what? I thought that if we move to armrest, there will be nothing more to talk about in terms of Secretlab. So let me show you one more thing. In 7G11, there is a possibility of making your backrest more flat and wide or more narrow and hugging, because these bolsters, these side bolsters, are adjustable with this switch. Moving it forward, I think you might be able to see it better this way. Moving it, pressing it forward makes these guys hug you and sort of lift you. Now I start feeling them. Keep hugging, keep squeezing. Okay, it's actually not that. Okay, now it's done. It's as tight as possible right now, and it's sort of lifting you, helping you, that's how I feel it, helping your spine hold all the weight. It's actually too tight for me now. You know, Captain America grew too much a little bit in this area. So it's up to you how you like it. And I think this is the only thing that actually allows you in your office chair to have a possibility of adjusting it here with the backrest, either more relaxed back, or when you've got to have some Zoom meeting to have it more straight and to be more like, you know, focused. It's all up to you here. Where the real functional and comfort related thing appears is actually this switch, and this allows you to modify how your shoulder area is aligned, so the curvature, the overall curvature, along with the lumbar support of the backrest. Obviously now it is too flat for me. I am too old and not straight enough in terms of, I'm very straight, but I'm not straight enough in terms of my back to have it like that. So I would like to have it something like this. If for any reason you want to go back and need to have it even more forward, okay, let me show you the maximum. That's how far it goes. If you are 120 years old and that's still not enough to support your body and you just cannot straighten up, which you should try, you can still move it forward. Of course, this is not how you want to sit. This is how these things make you sit. So I shouldn't be showing you that, but this is about the possibilities. If you don't want the shoulders area to be that much forward, but still you want to have your head for some reason forward, that's how you do it. You can also play with this pillow kind of cushioning thing. You can have it fully forward, you can stop it somewhere in the middle, or you can fully have it back, and then you are very much straightened back. I've got a saying for that, but I'm gonna skip it for now. So this makes a real huge difference, and I think this is also the only thing in the world right now, and for a few years so far, that can give you that. So every part of the backrest, this part, this part, this part, and also the headrest is adjustable. So what does it leave us with? With nothing. Everything here is adjustable. So the idea is to suit, and that was exactly how I was not supposed to sit. So the idea is for it to suit and fit every single body type, unless you are 300 kilograms or you're a 5-year-old girl. Meanwhile, sitting on the rocks of Mount Everest here, you've got this pillow which you cannot for some reason stick like this, which I think is very smart. However, you can stick it like that, so let's keep it like this. It is actually very nice and soft and plush. It's magnetically attaching to the backrest. Yeah. It's, well, in my case, it is a little bit too small, I would say. I am a little bit too stretched back right now, and I was finding that after a while of sitting on this chair, that I wished I was able to move this thing a little bit forward, since this part of the backrest is actually causing a position in which I am a little bit slouching forward. I could fix that by moving lumbar support fully forward. Yes, it is fully forward, but then it's pushing my whole body off of the backrest, and I'm basically not touching it anywhere. I could not sit like this. It's either here or it's not here. It's a fun thing. I like it. I like the idea. I see other manufacturers of gaming chairs are starting to adapt this technology, amazing technology, which is cool. I like it. It is fun. You cannot stick it anywhere you want, but this is where your head should be anyway, not there. So it makes sense. Anyway, it's just one size. It's either here or not. Well, I appreciate Secretlab doing something before all other competitors, but you know, it's still like, you know, being slapped in the face versus taking a punch to the face. Is it better? Yeah, probably it is better to be slapped than punched. But the question is, do I still want it? That might depend on a reward. Not exactly sure it's still worth it there. So let's move to the armrest, as this is something that Titan, watch the broken part, as this is something that the Titan does pretty well. They are nicely adjustable. On one hand, they go forward, they go sort of backward, and this is where the fun stops for me, because I like to sit not with my arms out there, not even with my arms right here, but I'm liking it when the desk is pretty close to me, and I cannot move them back here. And you don't have this problem with the 7G11, because, well, you can move the armrests forward, you can move them backward, but they fully reach your elbows here in the back. If they wouldn't, if you would do something whatever crazy, go all the way to the back, and let's say they don't support me well now, I can still flip them in the mounts. There are two bolts here, one and the second one, boom, and then these things are not going forward but backward, and you can still move them back. There's one thing that Titan can do that 7G11 cannot, and that's worth mentioning, which is the width. So these things here, well, if you have the broken part, they can move closer to you and further. If that's not enough, for some reason, because they are still rather close, might be a little bit even too close. Okay, this is as far as they go. Might be even too close to myself. You can still unbolt them here, and you can move them. Wait. Further. Actually, you cannot. You can only move them closer because they are already fully extended. There are 3 bolts here. Okay. So, yeah, but anyway, of course they move up and down just like they do here, up and down. One more thing is this. I like that they lock, so you've got to press a button in order to move it, so it won't be, you know, moving freely. These are wrapped in the same Nappa leather as the whole chair. This is real leather. This is some leather-like kind of thing, and this is what I was talking about. Ouch. There is this that's already fully extended. Here you've got 2 bolts that you can move. And well, this is like a Rolls-Royce with foam underneath, and this is like literally your bicycle. It's still rather soft, so it's a pretty good execution, I've got to say. It's definitely the best and makes the most interesting sound out of all the gaming chairs that so far have been here. So yeah, this is still in the game then. Let's see where we can get with that. Now you ask, what about running costs? Yes, 7G11 is electric, so you need to recharge it once in a while. Right here, there's a battery inside. If you remember to switch it off after adjusting it, after playing with it, without really limiting yourself at all, it might go up to, let's say, 6 months without charging. As for the Titan, well, you've got to check how much your doctor takes when you injure your neck. Hopefully not. The weight, 7G11 may be like 50% or maybe even twice as heavy, so it will take the most time for it to gain speed, but then it will be the fastest, and yes, sure, it will make the most damage when you hit something. So that's something to keep in mind depending on how you want to use your office chair, but yes, keep in mind that's gonna be heavier than these chairs. So racing, if it's 1 mile, you can win. If it's quarter mile, well, probably Secretlab will be a better choice. The design part I'm leaving to you. Both look fine when on a Zoom meeting and people actually ask what these things are. However, in terms of overall feel and the materials, the real leather, well, it's an easy win for power seats, and 7G11, they're just from another world. If you enjoyed this comparison, give it a thumb up and head to powerseats.eu to see the 7G11 up close. Okay. Thank God I didn't break anything.